My name is Kris Gethin, and what I aim to bring to you is inspiration, motivation from clients, everything that will allow you to evolve as a human being. Okay, why do I look so fucked? Because I just trained with Milos. I surrendered myself to Milos's principles. I knew it was going to be bloody nasty because I've seen him train and he's kind of notorious for what he does, but I've never experienced it. And there's a little bit too much mystery there for me, where I didn't know what to expect, and it was just like, this has to be the last exercise, this has to be the last rep, but it wasn't.
Now, you mentioned over there on the gym floor that this is the craziest pump you...
In my delts, for sure, and my biceps, for sure.
If you heard me speak, sometimes I say, what is our goal when we step the foot in the gym? Maximal stimulation of maximum amount of muscle fibers of a targeting muscle group. Okay, so biceps, delts, right? So when you came in, you went on the gym floor, said, how can I trash Kris's muscle fibers without risking too much, right? So we have certain limitations. You have 48, I have 58. We have to train smart, right? So, but I have to bring you to that brink of death, like when you are in that deep waters and you don't know if you're going to swim out of it. So we did just about every angle, different tempo, different type of contraction. I made you mix explosive with the super slows and stuff like that. And bring 5 movements in one exercise, which you probably never did.
No.
So your certain nervous system have to, fire specifically to do this, that, right? You go here, you go slow, there you go explosive. Then I gave you just eccentrics, prolonged peak contraction. But basically, whoever's going to see this video, it was not staged. You had no idea what you're going to do, right? And this is how first time I train you, I exposed you to this kind of volume and intensity. You survived, right? And my job next time, if I would ever train you, is to raise the level up the notch, right? So nobody can train like this on their own.
Impossible.
It's impossible, yeah. But you had that drive, and of course you had respect for me, so you let me pretty much kill me.
Of course, yeah.
So, and I enjoyed it. Listen, because I've been there, done that, right? Many times. Okay, I asked her to give me the number between 30 and 50, right? Literally speaking, with Sonny Schmidt.
Yeah, Sonny.
It's okay. Throw the number. And I would say 55 on some hack squats. And he'll be so annoyed and pissed off and say, that's not realistic, that's not possible. Then I would jump in and I do 55 reps. In your face, Sonny. Now what, right? When I started doing the giant sets with all my guys, as you know, you watched. So I told them, you're going to do this, right? And the same thing, this is impossible. So when I heard it impossible, I went and did it right in front of them. And then they had to shut up and do it themselves, right?
Yeah.
So I've been there, so I know the human mind is somewhat limiting, right? And you just don't go for okay, no matter what, I'll do it. So today you did it. And I take my hat off to you. I mean, there was moments that I thought that you might want to quit because your muscle was completely empty and failing, right? But you continue. So my all respect goes to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, because it's very easy, especially on high repetitions, that the mind quits before the body. Of course, if you're on low repetitions, heavyweight, the body fails, the body fails. But when it's high repetitions like that, that's what really separates the men from the boys. Because okay, how bad do you want it? I think you were doing the majority of the exercise sometimes, especially on those slow repetitions. They were soul destroying. When it's 5-second negative and then 5-second contraction, I felt like you were doing all of it. But just knowing that you're going into areas that are just fully uncomfortable, that is only going to allow you to progress, to evolve, if you can get comfortable within that discomfort zone.
We force new adaptation. There's new type of stimulation for your body, something that you are not accustomed to. And you already adapted in this workout. The next workout adaptation is going to be even greater. If you train like this for a couple of weeks, you really become a crazy machine. I mean, I promise you that one. But I was going to say something, and then my chain of thought went away. The thing is just, you start, and no matter what, I'm going to finish. I didn't expose you to exactly everything. So I'm going to tell you, every rep has those 4 points. You have a eccentric, right? You have a completely lengthened, then concentric,
and then peak.
position.
Yeah.
So I would play with these 4 points. I could get you 10 seconds down, right? Or 9 and 8, 7, eccentrically. I can have you in a stretch position. I didn't want to insist on that today to keep you with that stretch overload for a prolonged period of time. I skipped it because you'll probably be completely exhausted. Then you experience slow concentrics, right? A lot of experts would tell me, oh, this is waste of time, that's not productive, you don't trigger the high threshold motor units, and it's... Have you tried super slow concentrics on just about anything? On shoulder presses, which you did today,
Yeah.
right? On Smith machine presses, incline presses, on hack squats, and on biceps curls, which you did,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Slow concentrics are absolute nightmare, right? And there's a different level of contraction. We talk about continuous tension, time under the tension, but there is maximal tension that's completely different, right? I can squeeze a little bit or more and more and more and more, right? So every muscle, we contract as much as we need to complete that movement. Right? I would tell you, squeeze the juice out of the lemon, right?
Yeah.
Squeeze like your life depends on it. A lot of people don't go for that really crazy pre-contraction. Today, I think it would be not realistic if I made you squeeze for 10 seconds,
No.
squeeze for 9, right? Because I wanted to still, keep very good workouts. So whoever is watching, they can apply it. But I would probably progress into this in the next couple of workouts with you.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be giving this a go. Like, what really shocked me as well is sometimes, like, you'd have that 1 second, then it was 2 seconds, then 3 all the way up to 10. It was just not only shocking the body, but shocking the mind, and taking myself definitely into dark waters, an environment that I couldn't see coming, Now, when you're doing that sort of rep range and that sort of intensity, a lot of people would say, well, this is going to be slow twitch muscle fiber work, but it's definitely working the fast twitch. And so what do you say about people that say, this is just going to be slow twitch and nothing but, this is more of an endurance workout?
When you review your workout, I kept you in 6 reps.
Yeah,
only.
for sure. And then drop, and then do another exercise.
So, and you were starting on that, and I was saying, no, but look, we have the different types of hypertrophy. We have a sarcoplasmic, we have myofibrotic.
Yeah.
So I know that you're a power guy and you're super strong. I heard, that you can really lift the weights. It's normal for a man that, we want to show the strength and we want to go all out and see where that limit is, right? But when you go all out, what does it really mean? Can I isolate the muscle to go all out? Or I'm just going to do the movement and use all the supporting muscle groups. So I stay away from that. I'm not going to say ego training because I respect people that can do that. But I make my weight heavier and harder by introducing those prolonged time under tension, prolonged peak contraction, prolonged eccentric, concentric, stretch position, these kind of things. At the point that I'm at, I wish I listened to my father back in the day when he says, listen, now you're young and you think you can lift the wall, you can lift the house. Your body is not designed to be pounded with this kind of intention day in, day out for years. And as we know now, many top pro bodybuilders, older, they have so many injuries.
Yeah.
Because it's not smart to train that way. It's ego training that really, if I can achieve the same type of failure, complete muscular failure, not just mental, because, whoever trains with me, mentally this.
Yeah.
In order to finish this mentally, but complete muscular failure. I would actually let you pretty much die and you can't even move for another inch, which I noticed with you today. As long as you can move half inch and 1 inch, you keep going. You keep going. And I like that because John Brown, back in the day, I trained with him. He says, as long as you can hold the bar and attempt another rep, it's your duty to attempt.
Yeah.
Right? So this kind of things. But I've witnessed in last 40 years, top pros that never went anything under 15 repetitions, which is slow twitch fiber specific. Right?
Yeah.
Enormous size. I mean, that you cannot compare. Like, if you would just look at the body, you would think this guy is a heavy duty guy. No. With all his supersets, giant sets, high repetitions. Mohammed Ben Aziza, one of the examples, right? But when you look at his height and proportions, I mean, he was so heavily muscled. But
and then you look at people like Branch Warren. Like, look at the size of his legs, and he'd always do high repetitions with his legs. It goes to show.
Yeah, it goes to show. So look, I mean, if you just go that science, 1 to 5 repetitions is strength, and then 6 to 12 hypertrophy, and then 6 to 5. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. You can make any amount of repetitions work.
And even with strict form, you can still get very much injured when you're going heavy. It doesn't give you that longevity. You could look at someone like Ronnie Coleman and go, okay, well, maybe his form could have been better. Yeah. But then you look at someone like Dorian, who had textbook form, but still got injured because of that repetitiveness of that heavy, extreme load. I
appreciate you saying this. I trained with Dorian, and there was many times in Birmingham, in his gym, in my gym, and then in Gold's Venice a few times. He was doing very heavy with the picture perfect form, right? And he tore his biceps and triceps and everything. This scar that I have, right? That's my patella tendon exploded doing super slow hacks. I mean, he could not. I mean, you see me do this super slow, right?
Yeah.
6, 8, 10 seconds down. Hello, 6, 8. 10. So absolute control. But there was such a heavy weight. So when you do, I was doing like free weight squats first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5 plates. Then I would go to the hack squats and start with 6 plates, 8 plates, 10 plates. So I actually I thought, oh, I'm so pumped. I thought it was my VMO, like my dialysis. But there was a signal. My patella tendon was sending me a message. I didn't read it correctly.
Did you even have knee straps on at the same time?
I had it.
Yeah, wow.
Straps, and I mean, really, I did 6 plates, perfect. 8 plates each side, perfect. And this was like my 4th rep. I literally speaking, like there was no momentum, inertia, power movement. It was just like I would tell you, go slow down, pass the paddle, 0 initiation, just a muscle contraction. So even if you do it, as you said, most perfect form, the load sometimes could be too much on the muscle, too much on a tendon or a joint. And that's what we were facing today, right? You have several tears, including a tricep. So triceps training was not super intense because we are limited. But you see, you can either risk the injury and I expose you to some movements that would be risky. 99 out of 100 times you would get injured.
Yeah.
Something when your body is sending you signals.
Yeah, you got to listen. Now, when it comes to this style of training that you're doing, like I know from back in the day, you used to be a high volume trainer and you train frequently as well, pre-contest double workouts. Now, with this style of training, how often? Of course, it all depends on the individual, how they're able to recover. But, as a guide, how often can someone train like this?
I'm super happy that you asked that question. And I don't know how often do you train. I train like this.
5 days a week, usually,
I train 6 days a week, twice a day, like this for 15 years.
Twice a day, like this?
Yeah.
6 days a week?
6 days a week. And I'm not going to say I never felt overtrained. There was a times that, like, okay, now you feel it and then you back off. But seriously, higher demand forces higher adaptation. So as you see today, we didn't risk anything, right? It was very intense, very stimulatory. If you had a proper nutrition, you would have a great response, muscular dystrophy and hypertrophy.
Yeah.
But you would recover, because if I train each body part twice a week, it's only twice a week. And I didn't expose this to anything like murderous that now I'm going to have to recover for a week or 2 weeks. So I'm very loud about this motion nowadays. Overtraining, overtraining, overtraining. Jeez.
People are under recovering.
Under recovering. And look, if you think you can or if you think you can't, you're always right.
Yeah.
So if you think that you cannot recover, you will not recover. I mean, listen, we are in the ocean, pushed into the ocean, you have to swim. It doesn't matter, there is no island anywhere, you're going to swim until you find the island, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it's in my training, and it just happens that twice a day somebody throw me into the ocean, I'll do it. And seriously, I counted, I have these journals, I don't know if you've ever seen. I actually found it today, another one. I'm going to publish a few pages of my Instagram because it's interesting. People like to see my actual contest prep, what I did, so I'm going to do this. But I counted 550 workouts in average per year for 15 years straight.
Wow.
Yeah. I never felt overtrained, I promise you. And another thing.
And you'd hit every muscle group twice?
Twice a week, yeah.
Twice a week.
And I'll tell you this, originally, yeah, I thought, more you train, the better it is, of course. And initially, when I trained like 3 hours a day, and I didn't have a proper nutrition, I got smaller. It was enough. But once I realized, okay, my training is my anabolic phase of the day. We have it 24 hours a day. I can have a fat burning phase of the day, maintenance phase of the day, and anabolic phase. This is how I approach everything. What does it mean? Maintenance phase is like when you know your caloric requirement and you keep that caloric requirement from meal to meal, okay?
Yeah.
Being inactive. When I'm training, as you know, normally, many years, training was catabolic event. You come in, you trash the muscle fibers, micro tears of muscle fibers, ATP loss, amino acid loss, glycogen loss, everything, and then your body replenishes,
yeah.
Right? But I learned this back in the day from my father, that for the love of God, you have only that one opportunity during the day when you train to deliver all this blood to the muscle. So if blood is supplied with exact nutrients that you want to deliver, and you know how to manipulate them, you can insert all these nutrients straight into the muscle. So instead of becoming a catabolic event, it's anabolic. And that's why I say it's my anabolic phase. So when I realize, oh, this is a time that I can grow and insert something, do I want it once a day or twice a day? This is why I came up with I want to have more opportunities to insert. So I train twice a day, 6 days a week throughout my whole career.
And then when you went to the twice a day, did your nutrition change? Because I know there's a huge component of taking essential amino acids for sure during your workouts, glycogen during your workouts. Yeah. Is that when you started incorporating that just to help you to recover?
Yes. You see, the thing is, once I realized and how my father really explained to me, and I know that you do this similar thing and you have the same kind of thinking. We have 6 liters of blood, right? Right now, for me, maybe 10% is in my muscle. 20 minutes ago, it was 60% of the blood in all the muscle fibers that we were training.
Yeah.
Right? So now, if you trigger, okay, certain things, you trigger insulin release in your bloodstream when the blood is saturated with nutrients and blood is in the muscle and you're doing all these contractions, what is going to happen? Insulin drives everything out of the blood into the first available cells and tissues. The only available cells and tissues are muscle cells. Each muscle contractions open up the cell, whatever muscle fiber, muscle cell, we did this and that, brachialis, brachioradialis, biceps, short head, long head, right?
Yeah.
I expose you to that, okay? Contraction and now insertion, it's like nailing amino acids and glucose and ATP and everything straight into that muscle. When my father back in the day explained me that, can you visualize this? Can you understand that? I said, like, this makes perfect sense. Why nobody else is doing it? And I tell you, even whoever is listening to me, they're going to say, oh, here he goes again about hyperemia advantage theory, increased blood flow to the muscle. That's my theory that I constantly talk about it. But people are listening, but they don't hear it. So I want even, you right now to tell me why, when people know that, okay, they're coming to the gym and they want to stimulate the muscle, or they would like to create hypertrophy, build, not break down, anabolism, not catabolism. And all this blood is going exactly into the exact muscle that you're training. If you saturate that blood and you create insulin release during a training, it's going to insert everything that is in the blood in exact muscle fiber that you're training. I said this many times. You want to fly the airplane from here to wherever, Europe or Australia, with no passengers, or you want to fill it up and have a most valuable flight.
Yeah.
If I train, I want to have a most valuable training. And if I'm not prepared, I don't have it's empty blood. It's going to go through it and nothing's going to physiologically happen. So this is why I insisted. My father, when he told me this originally, like every teenager, you don't want to listen to your father.
Yeah.
I don't know why, right? Most intelligent, educated person, making perfect sense. I didn't want to listen. But then it really, I had a sleepless nights thinking like, this made so much sense. Let me try it. So at that time, when I started implementing essential amino acids we had in Serbian pharmacies for renal patients, and glucose you can buy in any supermarket, dextrose, right? I started using just this, my intra-workout. People accuse me of using steroids. At the time, I didn't know what steroids are, right? But I was getting such incredible gains and visible pumps that would last, and every succeeding workout I looked better. And that progress is the name of the game, right? We can maximize something or we can compromise.
Mm-hmm.
If you go and you don't honestly answer your questions, you want to maximize it. So for me, I wanted to maximize your stimulation today in biceps and shoulder training. And I'm super happy. As a coach, as a trainer, right? I think we had a great workout.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Right? Okay. So now, if you follow that with a specific supplementation, intra-workout, right? And then specific diet throughout the day, 24 hours, you have a caloric requirement, you have your anabolic nutrients, you have recovery nutrients. Check. Good training, good nutrition, good day, good week, good month, good year. Guess what's going to happen? In a few years, you're going to be on an Olympia stage.
Yeah. Now, with that style of training, of course, I can see we're definitely having that immediate, like glycogen and essential amino acids. Now, there's going to be some people, I can only assume, are going to say, well, I train like 8 reps. My liver is going to store enough glycogen. I'm going to have enough essential amino acids from the food that I eat. Is that the case? Or would they still need a supplement with it?
That's what Dave Palumbo once in our debate was saying, like, well, Milos, you can drive the car with a half gas tank. You don't have to fill it up, right? It's still going, right? And he was referring to my glucose delivery during training. He was saying it's not necessary because you have a glycogen stored. Glycogen stored in the muscle, it's energy reserve. So you're dipping into reserve. Why? Because you compromise, you didn't supply nutrients that your body needs. Your muscle needs glucose. And the only reason why it's going to go to the glycogen storage is because you didn't give that glucose.
Right.
If you do give the glucose, now you can maximize it, right? So glycogen depletion also is costly process. It costs you calories, and you're digging into your reserve. Another thing that if you trigger hyperglycemia from your glucose or glucose polymer that you're taking, you're releasing insulin. It's a dramatically higher insulin release from that than glycogen storage would ever give you. So you have now a most potent anabolic hormone, right?
Mm-hmm.
storage hormone, not selective, that's going to push everything in, triggered by that glucose and maintenance of glucose, because you're drinking intra-workout in between sets, right? Glucose goes in the bloodstream within 3 minutes. So you constantly have a constant delivery of glucose. Insulin is constantly being released. And insulin takes those essential amino acids and creatine and glutamine, beta-alanine, citrulline, everything, and inserts it. So for me, yeah, can you do it without it? Yes. But is this maximized? Far away from. So, this is how I look at it. Just because your body can find a way to survive and to function, because let's face it, what is number one physiological preference of the body? It's always energy. No life, no energy, no life.
Mm-hmm.
So that energy has to be stored as a reserve. Body fat is a storage. Carbohydrates is a storage. Protein is the muscle, right? So we are muscular guys. With the extra muscle mass is just energy reserve of a muscle protein, right?
Yeah.
And if you cut the carbs and cut the fat, then you have nothing. Your body's going to use your protein as energy source, right? It doesn't work another way. Carbs and fat are only energy nutrients. Protein is only building nutrients. But protein can become energy nutrients in case you don't have these. So now you destroyed all the, you empty all your glycogen from in first, and then you're on a strict diet and you lose all the body fat. Okay, so now we have a zero fat energy reserve, zero carbohydrate energy reserve. Your body is going to still be using your lean tissue, degrading your muscle protein and having this extra energy for, again, some prolonged period of time until you die.
Yeah.
So just because your body can find a way to survive, does it mean that this is the optimal way for the athletes, for bodybuilders that want to be extreme muscular hypertrophy? So this is what I'm saying. There's many ways to roam, right? I can give you the small little boat and go to Italy, or I can give you a jumbo jet, right? I prefer to go in a jumbo jet.
Yeah. Okay, so with the way that you train, that intensity and the frequency, especially when you were competing, like you always stayed in pretty decent shape all year round. Did you feel the need to do as much cardio in your off season when you're training like that?
Why would we do cardio? So anything we do in life, it has to be a reason for it. If you are lean and you have no body fat, why on earth would I do cardio unless I just need my cardiovascular health?
Yeah,
right?
but
you experience this kind of training. This is somebody said, okay, I think that Dorian or somebody mentioned that this is cardio training. Like my giant sets and everything. That respiratory exchange ratio, right? What substrate you use, fat as a fuel or carbs as a fuel. So the RER1 is pure glucose. 0.7 is pure fat. Well, my type of training does anything in between. So you don't burn just glucose here, you burn some fats as well. I hardly did cardio back in the day when I was doing this two workouts a day. John Meadows, for example, same thing. I mean, he would hardly ever do the cardio. But your question, should I do cardio? What would be a purpose for me to do the cardio? Oh, I need to have my fat burning phase a day because I need to lose some body fat. Then I would do the cardio, of course. I would do because aerobic activity use fatty acids as a fuel. If I do it in the correct times, I can use my fatty acids and burn some fat. Beautiful. But if I don't need it, why on earth would I do it? This is the question. So you are also known, and I take my hat off to you, super lean year round. Let's speak the truth. Do we, bodybuilders and athletes and men, want to be in shape year round, or just for a contest? Let ourselves go, be in off season, eat big to get big, excuse to get fat out of shape, to build, size. Muscle building is completely different than just, packing on the weight.
Yeah.
So, my principle, if you see I have a fat burning phase, if needed. If needed. If I don't need it, I would just have my anabolic phase, eating. I never ate junk food. What would be the purpose of junk food? I mean, really.
Yeah, when people justify their refeed to have a cheap meal.
I mean, if it's for brain and because you really, want to eat something, but if you eat something that it's inflammatory and not healthy, it's just excuse for big refeed. Yeah, I'll let my refeeds be good carbohydrates,
clean.
That one, clean. I mean, really, if you look at my journals, maybe twice a year, 365 days a year, maybe twice a year, I will let myself eat something that maybe I don't supposed to. Because for me, I was competing in the 90s with the
best.
Sean and Kevin and Dorian and Nasser. I mean, everybody. Did I have a commodity of doing anything less than 100%? So I know that I was disadvantaged. Those guys were better, right? And just I qualified for Olympia 10 years in a row in the 1990s. And I think only Sean Ray did every qualification in 1990s.
Yeah.
I was qualified from 91 until 2000, 10 years in a row. I would not put anything in my mouth that didn't belong there.
Do you think it helped as well that you competed so much as well throughout the year?
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, again, you see, that principle of let's lie to ourselves and have excuse of, I need the off season to grow.
Yeah.
You just competed. I competed at the highest level IBB pro event. My first pro show, San Jose, I qualified for Olympia. So my first pro show, I was top 3, beautiful, qualified for Olympia. Do I now really need to say, okay, I need time to grow. I'm going to spend a whole year and 2 years, to put more mass? I want to put more mass. I was putting more mass from show to show with my principle. I'm not going to gain 40 pounds in off season. I'm going to gain 10, 15, right? And manage this. But I was progressively getting bigger throughout the years from 91 to 99, if you remember.
Yeah.
So, again, I like people to pay attention. I don't want to sound maybe arrogant or sarcastic, but you know that very well. People have excuses for their weaknesses.
Yeah, they justify them.
And mediocrity.
Yeah.
You want maximal, optimal, minimum, or 0. Right? Same thing as I was saying, I don't know if you've seen that when people judge me. There was in the muscle development, somebody asked me, if any man can be skinny, undeveloped, obese, fat, out of shape, or muscular, what would they choose? So I said, if any man would say anything other than muscular, he's a fucking liar. 100%.
100%.
100%. But no. So not necessarily muscular to the point of pro bodybuilding, right? But athletic, muscularity, you want to be strong.
Have a six-pack, yeah.
Yeah, this kind of stuff. So, but a lot of people are lazy to do it, or a lot of people get themselves out of shape with like unhealthy lifestyle and the excuses they have. I mean, you're 48, in top shape. You came here to train with me and then tomorrow with Neil, right?
Mm-hmm.
After the COVID, after the so many injuries, right? You have that drive in you. Why? Because you're a driven person and you don't lie to yourself.
It's purpose and passion, you enjoy it. And it has a transcendence effect into other areas of your life, because there's going to be aspects in your life, whether it be business, relationship, whatever, that's uncomfortable, but you're able to attack it. And there's nothing that's kind of unexpected that could take you by surprise because you're used to it from having that pivotal foot in the gym. Now, just going back to your contest history, and this is just my opinion, so I'd like to get your cloudy. Like, I remember when you competed in the Night of the Champions with Marcus Rule and like Paul Dillette, like the big guys, and you came in same as you do, very symmetrical, but you look like you'd put on a lot of size for that show. Is that,
99.
Yeah, 99. Is that because I remember, you know, the Muscle News? It used to be Muscle News in the UK, but then later called The Beef. It was like a newspaper.
Yeah.
I remember seeing those pictures. I was like, wow, okay, you packed on a lot of size. Is that because you knew that's what the New York crowd wanted?
Yeah.
They like the mass monsters.
Like the freaks. You see, I would, and I tell you this, it's interesting that you remember that. Yeah, there was also Pavel Brunetsky that competed in that show. 99, I didn't plan to even compete in those shows, but because I was always in a decent shape, right? On a few weeks, okay, I'm going to do it anyway. Why not? Marcus Rule.
Yeah, freak, freak,
Paul Dillette.
Another freak,
Frankenstein, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I said, like, okay, let me see, you know, if I can match the fullness and size. And of course, I placed top 5. Dexter was 3rd, Marcus was 4th,
Yeah.
Ivanenko 2nd. But yeah, in the 99, I decided in all my shows, if you look, I was 2nd to Kris at the Ironman.
Yeah.
And then I was top 5 at the Arnold Classic, and then 2nd in Canada Pro, and 5th at the Nether Champions. And then I was top 10 at Olympia, and then to European Grand Prix Tour with Ronnie.
That's a great tour.
Ronnie Flex, Kevin, Dexter.
Yeah, and the British GP was just legendary.
Also Marcus and Nasser. But I managed to be top 5 in both of those shows, beat Nasser and Marcus. I was so fooled that I wanted to create that, okay, I have a deep separation, I have a shape. It's okay, let me just see if I really push to the limits and I have a fully loaded muscle glycogen, if I can, you know, go a little higher. And I almost actually even beat the Dexter. There was like a couple of points between.
Yeah.
And the only guys that would lose was 99 Ronnie, phenomenal 99 Flex, and 99
Kevin, yeah.
Jesus. So, you know, that was experiment. But honestly, for me, I loved my 97 physique better. I was smaller, more aesthetic, more pleasing. It's just like, what do you do when the best that you can look with this kind of body weight, you can place top 10 and you don't go any further. And then you hear the experts telling you, Milos, with a little bit more size, you can maybe contend for a title. It's okay, let me give them what they want, more size.
Yeah, yeah. So
but it wasn't me.
So what? Yeah, you definitely like. It's like we could say the same with Ronnie. You know, when he was a little bit smaller, he looked better. When he started pushing the envelope, yeah, it was enough for him to get him the crown, but it was a little bit too much. But the judges were pushing for it. But just a last question here: what was it that you did different in '99 compared to the years before, where you came in that much bigger?
I did. When I was saying throughout the years, I like my look. Before I started bodybuilding, I promise you this, I visualized what I want my physique to look like. And by 97, I accomplished. That vision was in the mirror every time I looked. I won Canada 97. I was second in Nether Champions 97, but I was only top 10 at Olympia, right? And then 98, I kind of lost a contract from sponsors. And you know, my daughter was born and I needed more money. It's okay. So now 99 was decision, okay, I'm going to give them what they want, or I'm just going to be stubbornly doing what I think is best for me. So all that time, I could gain that size. I just didn't want that size.
Ah, right. Okay.
I didn't want it. So 99 is okay. I'll do it. That's what they ask. It's easy for me. I mean, really. And back in the day, I would say to anyone, I could put 30 pounds in a couple of months. You know, just methodically, twice a day, anabolic phase, drive nutrients in. I could even bet at that time that give me somebody. In 30 days, I'm going to put the 30 pounds on them without changing the body fat level. And I said, no, that's impossible. I would take a large bets that I could do it. But I would lock you in my house. I would train twice a day. I'm going to feed you through the yin-yang, right? I think that still to this day, a lot of people underestimate their caloric requirement, okay, just to maintain caloric requirement to progress, to improve, to hypertrophy. First, you have to create a reason for your body to hypertrophy with the stimulation.
Yeah.
A lot of people train day in, day out without really triggering that response. They burn calories, they do some physical work, but they don't expose the body like I exposed you today to discomfort.
Stress. Yeah.
Okay, something new. So now your body got the new impulse and needs to adapt to it. So it's going to send it. And then that crazy pump that you had today, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we had supplements, intra-workout supplementation, it would be much more progressive even today.
Yeah.
And then if you do this twice a day, 6 days a week for a whole month, I mean, the results are astonishing.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm going to give it like, of course, I'm getting a little bit older now, but I'm going to try that because I tend to do cardio. I like cardio. I enjoy it, you know, but
that's a good reason to do cardio.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. But
I hate it.
Yeah, see, I don't mind it. Audiobooks, watch a movie or listen to a podcast or whatever. But what I may try doing is doing some double workouts. Maybe like a larger muscle group in the morning, smaller muscle group in the evening. Yeah, well, I'm doing cardio anyway. So maybe one of those cardio sessions I'll replace with a weight training session. Sometimes, yeah. But I'll do a little bit of post-workout and I'll do some in the morning, you know, because I love cardio. You know, I've done Ironman triathlon. I enjoy cardio.
I was just about to say, like, what do you like about cardio for the love?
It's like meditative. It's an active meditation for me.
No,
but
I'm on that. I commend you for it. But look, you're super lean. Okay, so this is also maybe tricky, and maybe somebody's going to be interested in this. So me, possibly advising Kris, and Kris knows everything 10 times over, and probably many things better than me. But I don't think that you consider day in, day out, every moment, how to time the nutrients and supply most needed nutrients for the activity that is coming up.
Yeah.
So for me, that's why, like I said, I prepare my blood if I'm going to send my blood to the working muscle.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't need to prepare the blood for a cardio because cardio is going to just use a fatty acid.
Of course.
And you would preferably use fatty acids. You want catabolic activity catabolizes your body fat during that cardio. That's what you want, but not during anabolic activity. And if you go to an anabolic activity workout, right, but you're unprepared.
Yeah. Then it could turn into further catabolism.
If you said to your wife, go to the shopping mall with all these designers that she wants, but she forgot the wallet. Can buy shit.
Yeah.
You're there, but so it's the same thing. If you don't prepare your blood, or everything that
with
you
the
want,
nutrients, the glycogen,
so this is that little trick that I think would make a huge difference for you, because I'm sure that you eat very clean.
Yeah.
And you never told me this, but I'm gonna guess you're probably little caloric deficient, just in case, because you're probably
for sure. Okay. And I have a huge appetite, so I don't have a problem with eating.
Beautiful. So in this instance, I would just time it pre, intra, and post. That's a period of time when you want to boost it. Everything else remains the same. You would see the difference.
I'm going to give that a shot.
Yeah. Also, because you are a true athlete at heart. I mean, look at your conditioning and everything. And what I said it, I want to say publicly, I enjoy this kind of workouts when people come here exposed. So you tell me, you're going to die under my sword, right? You're not going to back off. So, I enjoyed this workout probably more than you.
Yeah, you probably did.
Probably, definitely.
Yeah, but I really did enjoy this workout because, of course, I'm ready to surrender myself because there's so much I want to learn, and I know that I can learn from you, And it was painful for sure. There's no doubt about it. But where pain sometimes comes pleasure, where sacrifice sometimes follows with success. So willing to do that. But Milos, thank you so much for this workout, for this podcast, for this time. Should anybody have any questions for you, which I'm sure a lot of people will, where can they find you?
I'm on social media. I mean, I'm most consistent on Instagram, Milos Sarcev, right? If you can ever spell my name.
We'll write this down in the show notes so people can find it.
You know, I try really, I'm a people's person. I love people. And I try to, of course, answer as many people as they question me. But as you know, sometimes it's just overwhelming. And sometimes you give the finger the one hand and the whole arm. You know, but I've been speaking this for 30 years. I don't have a secret. I honestly want everybody to succeed. It's a pleasure for me to have you train today with me, because I had a piece of me that I share with you, that if you value and you find something, this makes sense, I'll do it.
I'm applying this.
It's very gratifying for me, because the next time you train, it's, but the feeling. Yeah, so I want people to try that too.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people out there that's going to try this, but be prepared. Don't try this at home, kids, unless you've got a parent to advise you. Well, thank you, brother. Appreciate it, mate.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you ever so much for listening. My name is Kris Gethin, and I am out.